None, you discover that the ruling party at the state level get all the elected positions, from the local government chairmanship position to all the councillorship position.
What we expect from local government is that they need to be transparent. Whenever they are going to carry out any project, they need to make sure that they don't play tribal politics. They need to know the issues in their local government and address it.
I am expecting to surpass what I saw in that pamphlet. So as far as I'm concerned, the 4-year tenure of I'm talking about Fakojayi, where I am, where I was fortunate to see the record of achievement, I'm expecting that it will surpass it. I mean, I gave me a thumb for. That's why I voted. You can see it's almost been cleared off. That's why I went to vote for the new renewal. Otherwise, I would have stood by my ground that I won't vote.
They should follow the example of those who were there before them.
For me, I was not expecting anything. I was not expecting anything where you have one party system. And the same thing is trying to replicate in a federal system like a president or governor. It's supposed to be PDP, APC, Labour, ANPP, or parties contested, neutral INEC. But when you have a Lagos State providing INEC, what do you expect?
Last local government chairman, they are more improving than before. Go for many local government area, the roads, they did well. But come to the gutter, they need to add more. Come to their recent houses, they need to do more. Come to the tariff, they need to do more. Electricity, they need to do more. But
Welcome back. You've been watching the President's Independence Day speech, and we definitely need to dissect the President's speech. But before we do that, let's dive into education. I'm sure you all will agree with me that no nation can rise above the quality of its education. And for Nigeria, this sector has seen both growth and deep challenges since independence. Joining me now is an education expert, Majid Alabi, the editor of DevCom Reporting, to shed light on how far we've come and what must be done to prepare the next generation for the future. Good morning, Majid. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a great honor and privilege to have you in our studio today, sir.
thank you very much, and I say happy independence.
Happy Independence Day to you, sir. So let's quickly dive into the questions, sir. So, sir, let's look at pre-independence, independence, and post-independence. How has Nigeria made meaningful progress in education since independence?
Yeah, let me say again that happy Independence Day, Nigeria. It is already 65 years after independence.
Yes.
But quite surprisingly, we haven't made much progress as a people. We have not been able to record enough success as we would have wanted. As somebody who has been in the sector, I've been reported the sector for more than 15 years, and with quite some experience within the system, I understand that most of the challenges that we have had is because of our misplacement of priorities. So I understand that we have grown in terms of number of institutions, we have grown in terms of population of students, we have grown in terms of let's say, opening up access, but surprisingly, in the area of quality, in the area of affordability, we have not really done so much well. And that's really affected our development, making our growth to be in one way or the terms of population of students. We have grown in terms of, let's say, opening up access, but surprisingly, in the area of quality, in the area of affordability, we have not really done so much well. And that's really affected our development, making our growth to be in one way or the other retarded. That's a major challenge, because everybody knows that the bedrock for national development is education. Without it, there can't be health.
Without it, there can't be social work. Without it, there can't be any other sector that can function, because that is the foundation. And unfortunately, we haven't really prioritized it as a nation.
So speaking about
they are not even sure whether it's in heaven again. In Nigeria, we realize that the sector that is meant, that is actually meant to determine the progress of a nation, determine the success, determine what we are going to do, is neglected. So, beginning from the basics, those that you have as teachers who are to teach our future leaders, they are those that we call relevant teachers, who take teaching as an alternative job, who do not just necessarily want to do teaching. They are only there because they feel that they are looking for alternatives. And the reason is that, one, like in the past, we have had it as a country, the people who are respected in the society are the teachers, with their baggy shoes, with their baggy pair of trousers, with their shoes, with their boot cuts, with their very big hair. They were the models in the society. But today, a whole lot of people are not interested in becoming teachers, not because teaching is not, they don't like teaching, but because they know that it is rewarding. And that is one. Number two, you look at the infrastructure. The infrastructure is decayed. A whole lot of schools they can't meet up with the challenge. Number three, even when you talk about access, public facilities are no longer accessible to a lot of things. Go to neighborhoods, what to see are private schools. People can afford this private. A parent called me yesterday and was telling me that, oh, the boy is going to be sitting UTME, sitting SSCE, and the amount already, this is a public, in fact, they say it's a public institute, it's a public school, but run in a private manner, because there are some models like that. So what you have at the end of the day is that the person is going to be paying around 700,000 naira to keep this child in school. And this is a country where you are paying 70,000 naira as a minimum wage, or 73,000. So those are the baggy shoes, with their baggy pair of trousers, with their shoes, with their boot cuts, with their very big hair. They were the models in the society. But today, a whole lot of people are not interested in becoming teachers, not because teaching is not, they don't like teaching, but because they know that it is not rewarding. And that is one. Number two, you look at the infrastructure. The infrastructure is decayed. A whole lot of schools they can't meet up with the challenge. Number three, you look at, even when you talk about access, public facilities are no longer accessible to a lot of things. You go to neighborhoods, what you see are private schools. How many people can afford this private? A parent called me yesterday and was telling me that, oh, the boy is going to be sitting UTME, sitting SSCE, and the amount already, this is a public, in fact, they say it's a public institute, it's a public school, but run in a private manner, because there are some models like that. So what you have at the end of the day is that the person is going to be paying around 700,000 naira to keep this child in school. And this is a country where you are paying 70,000 naira as a minimum wage, or 73,000. So those are the issues that we have.
I'm so sorry to cut you short. Speaking about affordability, during the president's speech, he talked about NEL Fund. And in his speech, he said, we created NEL Fund to support students with loans for their educational pursuits. Approximately 510,000 students across 36 states and the FCT have benefited from these initiatives, covering 228 higher institutions. As of September 10, the total loan disbursed was 99.5 billion naira, while the upkeep allowance stood at 44.7 billion naira. So now let's talk about NEL Fund. Do you think all students have access to the NEL Fund? I mean, some people say, oh, NEL Fund, we are just hearing NEL Fund, we don't have access to it, they are just giving it to those they know at all. Do you think citizens have access to NEL Funds? Yeah,
definitely. It's an innovation, it's an initiative. Yeah. But before you jump to the tertiary institution, the foundation is very key, it's very important. So if you are talking about NEL Fund for tertiary institutions, what happened to those? Must all of us go to universities? Must all of us go to polytechnics? There are people who, there are some of our people who, more than 3, they were able to compete in the society. And that is part of the misplaced priority that we have. Nigeria values paper qualification so much over and above skills. What is necessary? If you are going to do this and do it excellently well, must you go to university before you can do this? If there are institutes, if there are areas where you can up your skills and you can develop yourself. There are a lot of Nigerians who are working from home today, who are digital marketers, and they have never stepped into the walls of tertiary institutions. But because we do not have a corresponding reward system, we believe that once you don't have certificates, then it means that you are not recognized. And that's the major challenge for us as a nation. NEFOND is good, but must everybody go to universities? Must everybody go to polytechnics? Must everybody go to college of education? What happens to the foundation? At the foundation, in this area where we have, how many public schools do we have? You have the number of private schools now outnumber. The private schools now outnumber public schools in Nigeria. And that is the challenge. People want access. They want affordability. Who can afford? And now you have a lot of mushroom buildings being converted into schools. You have a crèche, somebody who is just taking care of babies. The next moment you are going to see is already running a school. Because people patronize, because that's the one they can see. People patronize because that's the one they can afford. And that is the challenge that we have as a nation. And as long as the foundation is not critically taken care of, whatever you are offering at the upper level is like a foundation of a house. Once the foundation is not good, forget it. We are not going to get it as a nation. And so I spoke about reward, I spoke about quality, I spoke about access, and I spoke about the system. I think we need to really understand that it is not everyone that must acquire university education. It is not everyone that must go to polytechnics. So those are the issues that we need to tackle. You can talk about NEFOND, a great initiative, a good one, and I employ Nigerian students in particular, because before now there are a lot of people that we used to mobilize resources for who are in different tertiary institutions. Today, what we'll just ask them, go and apply. And some of them who applied, they actually benefited, except your details are not properly uploaded. So in terms of what NEFOND is doing, excellent. But beyond NEFOND, it is not only to take money, it is also very important for people to understand that the four tertiary institutions, the basic, the middle, they are very, very important.
Thank you very much. So understanding the reform that not everyone needs to attend tertiary institution is different. But for those that need to attend the tertiary institution, you know, not everybody can be the same. So how do we improve both access and quality at the same time?
Yeah, so access is important.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Let us first of all understand that access to what? Is it access to tertiary institutions? Is it access to basic and secondary education? Yes, if we talk about access and we want everybody to say you are able to go to school and you are able to come out. The problem we have in Nigeria, like I always say, is that we have a situation where we run inverted pyramid system of education, where we focus more on that paper qualification. Everybody is pursuing admission into tertiary institution because they believe that once they have the paper, and they are not bothered. I was surprised that when they were telling me a university where I left 20 years ago, where we were just about 100 in class and we were complaining that we were too many. Today, they are telling me that there are about 700 in that class. So if you studied English in OAU, and we were complaining that we were about 100. The infrastructure has not improved. The same classroom is though they are still using auditorium 1, auditorium 2 in the Faculty of Arts. So if you have not improved that, and the number of lecturers are shrinking, people are traveling, there's exodus of lecturers abroad. So what way? And rather than now even improving the existing structure, what our people are doing in Nigeria is to now create some kind of mushroom institutions, which we have been campaigning against, and that is you have a situation whereby you are just creating institutions for creation's sake. Every single home, every single rep member, every single senator, every single commissioner want to have higher institution in their locality. If you have 774 local government, if you put 774 universities or polytechnics in some of these institutions without quality, it amounts to zero. And that is why you see today that when people want to recruit, you see a whole lot of people, you have a lot of these CVs, but they are adding no value. Because what they ought to emphasize is the skill. And what we need to reward is the skill. But an average Nigerian, and that is why it leads us to another challenge that we face. And that is the problem of public examinations. People want to pass at all costs because they know that it is that paper that you need. They don't need. If today, if you have competence, if you are going to work with me, I don't need your certificate, and that's the truth. I engage people, we employ, at dev reporting. Your certificate is not the primary thing. It is about your skill, it's about your competence, it's about what you have been able to do, what we have seen, and what you can do. Throw the certificate away. And where I was coming from in premium time, it is the same structure, it's the same standard. So we have a lot of people who are in the system who are not even meant to be in the system at all. Yeah.
So thank you very much. You agree with me that education in your days is different from what school is now in today, and where students are having clashes with lecturers are having clashes with students and all. What can you say about this, sir?
It's about a society, you know, so it's a societal problem. The institutions are not, do not exist in a vacuum. They exist as part of the larger Nigerian society. The larger Nigerian society, we have lost this as a nation. We lost it because our hope is usually on the younger generation. But at a time like this, there are questions, salient questions that we should ask ourselves. How did we get to a level where what we prioritize as a country, as a people, is Nigerians using technology to defraud? And that is what led to Yahoo, Yahoo Extra, Yahoo Plus. You leave that, you realize that, oh, those who now say, we don't even want to do Yahoo, okay, we want to be creative. What do? They do content creation. And what do they do in terms of content creation? Just want to laugh, want to smile. You have forgotten that the tools that you are using for this, they are product of some secondary school graduates, secondary school leavers in some countries, in China, in Malaysia, in India, in Indonesia. Some of these young chaps, they produce this thing, but what can we do with them? We are only interested in using them to create laughter, things that do not add value to our system. They say we are the happiest people, we are part of the happiest people in the world. We are happy, but we are suffering. So even happiness in suffering, we are not creating solutions. Nigerian youth no longer, how many people are learning trades again today? So you only see people who are graduating from institutions, from universities, who are now going to learn trade after they have left. You will see a graduate who is now a fashion designer, a graduate who is a photographer, a graduate who is into art, designs, and whatever. But the problem is that the people who are not doing that, so that's why we are importing bricklayers from Togo, people who are doing POP, people who are doing a lot of things, they are being imported because we have lost the moral compass, where we are supposed to actually develop ourselves in terms of skill acquisition. And I thank the Minister of Education currently, who seems to be investing more in TVET, is investing more in teacher quality, and they are insisting that before you can teach in Nigeria, you need to have TRCN certificate. It's also a welcome development, but beyond the paper qualification, Master Oyinbo has been teaching Yoruba, Olalekan Fabilola has been teaching Yoruba for about for more than 10 years. He doesn't leave his own home. He doesn't have TRCN certificate, but he's impacting. People are relocating to Nigeria because of him, because they are living with him. He teaches in the US, he teaches in the UK, and he doesn't leave the shore of this country. So when you have such individuals, so it is really not about whether you have TRCN certificate or not. It's about how are we building the passion in those people? How are we taking care of their welfare? How is their future assured? In other countries, other climes, there are some sectors that are well funded, and there are some professionals that they actually single them out because they don't want them to be. You have judges, you have medical practitioners, you have those in education, teachers, lecturers. Today, you are not even proud to be a lecturer. How much is an entrance into a lecturing job in a university, federal university for God's sake? How much do they take? They only pay them around 170,000 naira. So who takes that? And you want to say, so when you now see that there is a kind of a moral decadence in our institutions, these are some of the results you have. So when a lady comes to you and offers you something, whether it is moral or academic or sexual, then it becomes a kind of a take away from them. So, and that is why we need to understand that fixing the country requires remodeling our education. I thank the minister. He's refocusing on TVET. TVET is very important, and there is a moratorium on creation establishment of new universities. I think there's a 7-year moratorium now, which is a welcome development as well. But beyond the 7 years, even the ones that we have established, are they functional? Most of them cannot even admit beyond 5,000 students. And in last week alone this year, over 70-something thousand students applied. It became the most sought after university, followed by University of Ilorin, followed by University of Lagos, where you have 60-something thousand. Their carrying capacity is no more than 6, 7, 8,000. And these are the people, these are the, even that, they are complaining bitterly. So we need to actually reorder our priorities. The president must know that we will continue to fight insecurity until you train the mind of Nigerians. And that can only be done through quality education. The people who are being recruited into banditry, the people who are being recruited into thuggery, the people who are being recruited into the violence that have now been consuming us, moving as closer as Kwara State here. It means that it is because there is no education. When people are educated, they try as much as possible to address, to query anybody who want to even challenge them, to co-opt them into something bad, to indoctrinate them. They will be able to challenge those things because they are empowered with quality education. And also, at the same time, you can't address famine in a land without quality education. You can't address insecurity. Most of the infrastructure we are building, yes, coastal road is good, yes, whatever, but the people who are supposed to use it, if they don't have any value, they are going to destroy it. So that's why we always tell people, we need to reorder our steps, consider our obsession with certificate must stop. Number 2, we must question the legitimacy, the conduct of some of the public examinations, because the reward system is bad. Our obsession with certificate has forced a lot of people to want to now pass at all costs. Yes. Because they know that if you are coming here, the next thing you are going to ask, bring your certificate, bring your CV.
So speaking about obsession with certificate, I think the government is now working towards curbing that, because lately the president of the State Universal Basic Education